I don't really know what direction this video is going to go, but I know that I want to speak on the topic of sacrifice and its prevalence throughout my life. As a kid, I was always a goody goody two shoes. But as I've divulged on this channel, it's like I've always been like an intellectual rebel. Yeah, I follow the rules because I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to get spanking. I don't want to get grounded. So I follow the rules, but in the back of my head, even as a kid, I'll just be like, why though? Like, that doesn't really make sense. I don't get it. Why do I have to do this right now? Why can't I do it later? Or why is it like this? Why do we have to, I remember in elementary school, the dumbest shit we had to do was to teach you how to walk down the hall quietly, we had to walk around with shushing ourselves, walking down the hall in a single file line. And I'm like, well, why do I have to do this if I could just walk quietly? You know what I'm saying? I've always been like that, but I just follow the rules, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, it's like that idea of sacrifice has always been something that's been prevalent in my life because, once again, I grew up middle class, spoiled, got everything I wanted. So some of y'all be like, what you talking about sacrifice? What you know about sacrifice? My level of sacrifice is different from yours. This is just my experience. Sacrifice is sacrifice. Experience is just experience. Stop victimizing yourself and stop trying to make your suffering more prevalent than somebody else's. That's a video I made way back when. Everyone struggles in their own way. Everyone interprets things in their own way based off of the scope of their own individual unique lives. But nevertheless, I'm gonna get off that soapbox real quick. Just tell a few more little stories. Even though I was a goody goody two shoes, I was still kind of down with the bullshit. I was always the one that liked to cover for people. It's like if the kid that never did his homework needed to copy someone. Hey, yo, bro, yo, you need my homework, bro? You need to copy it? Yeah. Good looks, bro. Hey, yo, thanks, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because I always just wanted to look out for people. There's a couple of times where people were getting in trouble and stuff, and I took the rap for it because I knew that I was the good kid. I knew that I could get away with it. They were just like, well, Prince, just I know you're a good kid. Just don't talk so much in class. Okay. And then my friends got away scot-free. Of course, I never went too far with it, like, hey, I'm going to catch this gun charge for you, homie. Like, no, I got some sense. But nevertheless, it's just it's always been sacrifice. And that's just my elementary, sacrifice. But then the older I got, things started to, take on a different level of importance. For example, stories I've told in college. I stayed in a committed long distance four-year relationship all throughout college when there was literally girls opening it up for me, girls laying on my bed ready to do what it had to do. I just said, hey, yo, I got a girlfriend. I can't do nothing with you. We got to slow this down. We got to stop this. I'm you know what I'm saying? When I could have been out here screwing everything walking, I chose to be, faithful. I chose to be loyal. And even though things happen the way they happen, there's still no regrets because one of the things I found out in my young adulthood is that these sacrifices always pay off. They always do. Because one of the things about, sacrificing that being young, wild, and free in college, I realized that kind of matured me faster. It really put me into a position of showing some restraint, having some self-control, right? When everyone's when people aren't out here practicing this skill, they're out there screwing everything, walking, making all these bad decisions, causing all this drama in their life. Me showing this restraint literally allowed me to just go pop some popcorn and watch all the drama transpire. And that's kind of what molded me into the person I am today. That sacrifice of the instant gratification, that overindulgence is what set me up to say, okay, know thyself first, especially when it comes to vices, sex, weed, alcohol. I'm in a position in my life where I'm still questioning everything. I like to have me a smoke from time to time. I like edibles. They're great. You know what I'm saying? But I don't abuse them. I have my little spells. You know what I'm saying? When I go through, I'll smoke every day for a month. But then when I say, okay, that month is over, I could pack up all the weed, I could throw it away, give it to somebody, and I'm good to go. I go about my business. It was nice and fun while it lasted, but I gotta get back on my grind now. It's nice to relax. One of the things I'm still kind of fighting with is I was really getting into scotch. I was damn near a scotch connoisseur. I love scotch and wine. I didn't like beer. I didn't like whiskey all that much. I didn't like bourbon. I didn't like rum. I liked scotch and wine. Those were my two things. What's wrong with having a glass from time to time? Enjoying life. Well, that's alcohol and that's spirits and yeah, but you're talking to me. I just made a video about me being an edge walker. I'm down with the dark side. I'm down with the light side. I'm down with indulgence, and I'm down with moderation. I can control my life. Quick little sidebar real quick, and I'm gonna get back to the idea of sacrifice. But like this spiritual conscious community, man, like it's like as much as I love it, I love seeing people wear their crystals and peace, love, and namaste and the meditation and the self-discovery and all that. But some people turn spirituality and the conscious community into like a cult. If you don't do it like me, then you're doing it wrong. And that's just weird to me. Like there's going to be certain things that serve you at a certain point in your life, and there's going to be other things that that you grow out of. There's going to be new things that you learn. There's going to be new information that you learn that you can implement now that you're older. Now you can go back to some of those things and be like, oh, okay, I'm glad I got into this now instead of when I was 14, 15. You know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, I just wanted to throw that in there. But it is that that sacrifice from college especially that really showed me that how much more emotionally mature I am. That's why I started preaching semen retention when I really got into my spiritual bag, because I see young men that are just being controlled by their nether regions, like men and women alike. But, especially because I tend to speak to the men predominantly, when it comes to that semen retention topic, it's just I see the strongest of men that get thrown off of their frame over some, pardon my French, but over some pussy. And it's crazy to me. Because when you really just take the time to slow your roll and get and to establish your connection with the so-called vices of the world, you realize how you can gain the power out of these things. If you come into union with me coming to a union with a beautiful young lady, and we know what it is that we're doing when it comes to sex, then it's we can magnify our energy. You know what I'm saying? We can grow it and multiply it no matter how we do what we do. That's what we do. But then when it comes to smoking, some people just smoke to drown out their problems and to give them a temporary high to make them feel good temporarily. For me, when I smoke, I get really introspective. I want to meditate. I get into deeper levels of my own psyche, but that's what happens when I didn't follow the crowd, when I chose to sacrifice my social life in order to know thyself. And I'm still in the midst of that sacrifice. I see young 20-something-year-olds doing what they doing, and that's cool and all. Enjoy, go do what you do. That's just not me, or at least not me right now, because I haven't developed that personal relationship with, in all actuality, with sex yet. It's just it's cool and I understand it now. So when I engage with this, hopefully there's some information that I could bring to a young lady, or I meet someone that's at my level or higher and she could teach me something, but we're coming at it with a higher level of understanding. It's we live in this instant gratification world. I need everything now. If I want to feel good, I need to get it now. If I want to do this, I need to get it now. If I want to lose weight, I need to lose weight now. I'm not going to go work out and eat healthy. I'm just going to go to a lab. I mean, a lab table. I mean, an experimentation table. I mean, a doctor, a surgical table, and just get it chopped out of me. Don't change the habits that put all the fat there in the first place. No, I'm just going to go get it chopped off without changing anything in my mind that caused the problem in the first place, just so it can happen again and I have to go back under the scalpel again in 5-6 years. You see what I'm saying? It's sacrifice is something that's very important to me. And then when I couple that with my spiritual journey, like I said a couple of times, I sacrificed, frivolous sexual activities. I sacrificed masturbation. I sacrificed the instant gratification of seeing a nude woman doing lewd acts on my computer screen or on my smartphone. In order to say, what does this relationship with this act mean to me? Damn, I feel weak every time I masturbate after this. I feel like a loser when I lost my mind over a woman. Man, hold up, man. Now, there's nothing wrong with being infatuated with a woman. There's nothing wrong with sexual urges and impulses. I'm just saying, control yourself, ladies and gentlemen. Control yourself. Stop trying to put a band-aid over a gaping wound. It's not going to work. You know what I'm saying? You have to take your time with things. And one of the things that I sacrifice is this thing so-called time. So-called time. where everyone's living everything right now and it looks like they're happy. Some people are happy, and more power to you. But some people have everything that they think they wanted or they thought they wanted, and they get it too early and they can't even appreciate what they got. How many of these relationships have been screwed up because you thought you could do better? You know, it's like, I want something better now. Instead of just growing with what you have right now, letting it blossom into something that would even amaze you and shock you and surprise you with the outcome of what it blossomed into. It's kind of like a lame ass Pokemon back in the day. You know, like, and once again, this might have been your favorite Pokemon. My favorite Pokemon always started off with Bulbasaur. I was always meant to be a vegan anyway, you know, but I love Bulbasaur. He was my favorite Pokemon. But then, like, Bulbasaur looked stupid as hell to me. I'm not even gonna lie. He was a plant, that's why I picked him, you know. But then he turned to Venusaur, and I was like, yo, Venusaur's freaking dope. You know, Squirtle. Squirtle's this little turtle-looking thing, but then he turns into Blastoise with 2 freaking cannons coming out of his tortoise shell. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, a lot of people see what everybody else has, and they say, I want that now. Oh, let's see, this person has been with me through my ups and downs. Screw you. I want her. And then you go get her and you realize she has the personality of a door stump, you know, like a fucking tree stump. You know what I'm saying? You go get him and you realize he's going to put his hands on you. You realize he has mommy issues. You realize he has insecurities, but you wanted that, right? You know what I'm saying? That's what sacrifice has taught me. Sacrifice has taught me to get out of this instant gratification world before we got so sucked into it. Nowadays, we got young people thinking that the way to success is to copy people. You know, like, all these people be on TikTok and they just be following the trends. Like, it really hurts my heart. Like that song I've been referring to a couple of times is like, mama, is don't worry, you raised a gangster, I'm a survivor. You know what I'm saying? He's pouring his heart out on the mic and everyone's just joking his haircut. And the thing is, it's like they're not even joking him anymore. They just want to be popular. They just want to make it big on TikTok so they can be TikTok famous and get rich quick, realizing that they had to sacrifice, you know, somebody else's well-being, and like they had to joke somebody else's art to make themselves pop. That's karma, dog. And if you just slowed your roll to realize this, you'll realize that, wait a minute, I'm not original. I'm not authentic. I didn't make it big because of something that I did. I copied somebody else's work and I just made fun of it. Now, I get it. Yes, sometimes you just have to, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Sometimes you just have to add improvements and modifications. You know what I'm saying? I get that. I'm not trying to be a hater, but it's just the world that I see. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, you know, sacrifice is very important. You know, when I couple it with my spiritual journey, you know, as I've said a couple of times, you know, like I almost sacrificed my YouTube channel in order to manifest things. Sacrifice something of equal or greater value for something else. I put so much energy into my YouTube channel. I was just like, okay, I could just make a new one. I could just start over. But something said, no, just keep it going. You good. But like, just nah. So I was like, okay, but hey, I showed you, I'm with the shits. It's like, what do I have to sacrifice? I'll do what I got to do, you know? But nevertheless, man, it's just like, sacrifice is something that's very important. But some people are scared to sacrifice things because a lot of people live in a mentality of lack. If I sacrifice this now, I'll never get it back. Or like, you know, hey, it's like I'll never get it back. I'll never get my hands on this thing again. I'll never get to experience this again, and blah 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 blah. So if I lose it now, I'll never get it back. So and people be scared to sacrifice the big things. People will sacrifice 10 minutes of their time. And once again, different scales, of course. But I mean, you want something grand in your life and you're going to sacrifice only a few minutes. You know, that's not how alchemy works. You know, you need to sacrifice. For any of you who watch that anime Full Metal Alchemist, you know, it's like, you know that you have to sacrifice something of equal or greater value for whatever it is that you're transforming. You know, so like if you want to give half-ass, you know, a half-ass ingredients, well then get half-ass final product. You know, it's like a chef. There's a difference between a cook and a chef. You know, a cook follows a recipe and they'll probably go, okay, I can just use these little ingredients and whatever, blah, blah, blah. The chef is going to go out there and experiment with the finest ingredients. Go out there to the garden, pick the things themselves, pick the things herself, you know, taste test everything, quality check everything. You know what I'm saying? Once again, no slight to the cooks and chefs and shit. That's not even the world I'm in. I'm just giving an example. But that's just the difference. So if you want big things in your world, well, big results need big sacrifices. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, you want your relationship to be amazing and flourish, but you give a half-ass effort. You want somebody to love you fully, but you're only giving a piece of your heart, a piece of your mind. Well, if you only give a piece of your heart, a piece of your mind, that's all that's going to be reciprocated to you. You know, how many of y'all have heard that you're too closed off? You feel like you're emotionally unavailable. You know, when people are like, you know, trying to pick out their perfect partner from a dating app. You know, you must have emotional intelligence. You must be emotionally available. You must be this. You must be willing to compensate. You must be willing to accept my child. You must be willing to do this. You must be willing to give me this. Okay, that's fine. Everyone's allowed to have the things that they're looking for in a perfect relationship. But what are you willing to give in order to receive that? You see what I'm saying? We live in a very greedy, selfish society, at least here in America. You know, I can't speak for other countries because I ain't there, but I can see what I see here. You know, people want the most with the minimal amount of effort. You know, and I know some people might go back and like, you know, try to expose me. Yeah, I don't believe in working hard, as in working hard for the man and putting in hours and hours of your time. But the thing is, I just chose to go a path less traveled. You know, I work just as hard in my spiritual development, you know, learning about the white magic, black magic, earth magic, nature magic, you know, going into alchemy, you know, learning about Kemet, the occult, all this type of stuff. I'm choosing to put all my work in there because I wanted to use these metaphysical practices to bring in what I want. You know, once again, different strokes for different folks. You take your path. But the thing is, I sacrificed all that to go this way. I sacrificed a whole paradigm in order to get to where I am now. And I'm going to do even more sacrifices in the future. You know, some of the sacrifices, kind of like when your body goes through a fast, right? It's like when you stop eating, your body switches over. So you go from the food that you've been eating, but then when you stop eating it, it transfers over to using the junk that's in your cells, you know, to burn that as fuel. You know, it starts to eat the fat, then the muscles, and then you start to get into like autophagy and like turning actual fat cells into water. That's just dry fasting. But you know, my brain's starting to run with that one, but I'm gonna keep it controlled right now. You know what I'm saying? It's like sometimes you have to sacrifice people that no longer serve you anymore. I'm not talking about sacrificing the way that these Hollyweird people out here be doing. You know, they be sacrificing their brothers, their sisters, their best friends, their cousins, their mamas, their daddies, all for some fame that they can lose in a heartbeat with one bad tweet. Or if you don't do this certain ritual in Hollyweird, then you lose all of your fame and all of your fortune and all that type of stuff. It's crazy world out here. See, now that's the dark side of sacrifice. I do it on the light side because that makes more sense to me. But when I get into the dark side of sacrifices, I sacrifice the physical things. I sacrifice the things I don't want to sacrifice, the things that I'm emotionally attached to. You know what I'm saying? The things that are hardest for me, that's what I consider the dark side. But once again, to each their own. Everyone has their own definitions of things. But anyway, those are my thoughts on sacrifice and getting the things that you want and how they've been so prevalent in my life. You know, let me know your stories, you know, or let me know if this made sense to you. Till the next one, y'all. Peace.